according to NPR and many other sources. Harry Whittington, the Texas attorney shot by Dick Cheney during a 2006 hunting trip, dies at age 95. Harry Whittington, the man who former Vice President Dick Cheney accidentally shot while they were hunting quail on a Texas ranch 17 years ago, has died. He died at his home Saturday in Austin. Family friend Karl Rove said Monday. Before Whittington was thrust into the national spotlight after the accidental shooting, the attorney was long known for helping build the Republican Party in Texas into the dominant political force it is today, and for being the man governors went to when they needed to clean up troubled state agencies. Karl Rove, an influential Republican strategist and former advisor to former President George Bush, said Whittington was a man of enormous integrity and deep compassion who was called on by leaders for important tasks. Whittington and others were hunting with Cheney on the sprawling Armstrong Ranch in South Texas on February 11th, 2006, when Cheney, while aiming for a bird, struck Whittington, who was 78 at the time. The accident wasn't publicly reported until the next day when the ranch owner called the local newspaper, the Corpus Christi Caller-Times, and told the paper what had happened. Whittington was sprayed with bird-shot pellets to his face, neck, and chest and suffered a minor heart attack due to a pellet near his heart. When he left the hospital about a week after the incident, he said accidents do and will happen and apologized to Cheney, saying he was deeply sorry for everything Cheney and his family had to deal with after the incident. Look, again, not to intentionally sound insensitive, and I'm not trying to, look, I've talked about Dick Cheney on this show before, as I have with many Republicans. And I'll tell you that with all of the bad that Cheney has said and done, I don't think that anybody really owes Dick Cheney, of all people, an apology for anything. But that's just me. There's many people who would agree with that, many who would disagree, and I'm sure some of you may not even care. I guess Whittington, I mean, it just was in his heart that he might have been a good guy, and that's probably just how he felt. I don't think anybody should judge him, so I'm not gonna trash him for that. I just wanted to throw that out there. You know, Cheney got us involved with 7 wars, and blah blah blah, and all this stuff happened. So Cheney was criticized for breaking a cardinal rule of hunting, that someone holding a trigger gun should make sure that they know what they are firing at before pulling the trigger, and for not immediately going public with what happened. The accident also spawned countless jokes. Jay Leno, then host of The Tonight Show on NBC, quipped that Cheney would be capitalizing on the accident for the upcoming Valentine's Day with a new cologne named Duck. Wow. Billionaire Bill Gates greeted his audience at a conference by saying, "I'm really glad to be here. My other invitation was to go quail hunting with Dick Cheney." In an interview with Fox News days after the incident, Cheney said it was one of the worst days of my life at that moment. Okay. If Dick Cheney was like in front of me right now, which I really don't want that and never intend for that to happen, but hypothetically, I would ask him, like, so, Mr. Cheney, so you shot somebody and the person survived, and that was one of the worst days of your life. However, you got this country involved in the wars with many other countries. You lied us into Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Iran, just to name a few. I think Venezuela might be in there somewhere. I could be wrong about that. Double check that, but you get the point. There were hundreds and hundreds of thousands of lives lost between that time and now, if not millions. And why aren't you saying that you feel bad about that? All those people died. They lost their lives. And this one guy who got shot, who survived it for a long time, you feel bad about that. Like, that's that just happened to be one of the worst days of your life. Um, okay, all right, just hey, just asking, just asking. Cheney said that the accident. Where did I leave off at? Okay, he said one of the worst days of my life at the moment. Cheney said the accident happened after Whittington had stepped out of the hunting party to get a downed bird in deep cover. Cheney said Whittington was dressed properly in orange and the upper part of his body was visible, but that he was standing in a gully with the sun behind him. You can't blame anybody else. I'm the guy who pulled the trigger and shot my friend. And you're also the guy who got countless people killed in many other countries across the globe. But, there's no taking responsibility for that one. Okay. And Karl Rove is guilty of the same thing too, by the way. Let's not pretend he's a good guy. Whittington owned a downtown Austin building where many of the state's GOP power brokers built their empires. Bush used the building for his gubernatorial campaign headquarters, as did former Texas Governor Rick Perry. Karl Rove also had his office there. Whittington was a longtime player in Texas politics. In 1961, he worked on John Tower's campaign for the U.S. Senate and later helped a young Bush run for Congress, a race that he lost. He was also a go-to guy for governors trying to clean up trouble. Okay, that was already another one. He worked on the campaigns for Ronald Reagan, Bush Sr., Bush Jr. Okay, Karl Rove said he was an extraordinary human being and to be remembered as being the victim of a hunting accident sort of gripes me. So, again, Karl, the guy who shot that guy is one of your closest allies and friends. Just saying, just saying. So yeah, I knew that the name Harry Whittington wasn't that recognizable amongst probably most of the nation. I mean, even probably amongst a small number of Republicans who probably remembered and knew him. So that's that. So, thoughts and prayers to Whittington's family. Sure, he's got kids, grandkids, maybe great grandkids and cousins and siblings or anybody else in the family who is, grieving over this loss. So that's it, folks. Harry Whittington, he was 95 years old. It's a good life. It's a long life. So that's pretty much that.